Hello and welcome to Lockdown Beers and Rugby Chat here on New Zealand Sports Radio. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host today. And yes, I have got myself a Spates beer. That's what for my lockdown beer today. Why? Because I'll be at Rewind. I'll be at Northland versus Otago this coming Friday. And 60 seconds until we open the actual beer. Because look, don't want to be drinking before 5 o'clock with the old lockdown, because it could just get a little bit messy, couldn't it, Ashwin?
You could do. I had a drink though. My kids made it.
Dear me, I'm not sure you'll be allowed to wear that jumper going forwards if I get the job I interviewed for today. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
You have to wear Bunnings on now, don't you? You have to get a job at Bunnings, not Mitre 10. As long as I can get a staff, as long as I can take advantage of the staff discount, that's all that matters.
20 seconds so I can crack open my beer. Have you got a beer ready?
No, I was sitting here doing work, and then I saw it's like, oh, Paul's all by himself. So I was like, oh, I can jump on today.
You can, Billy. No, mates, me. But
well, I was
1 beer time. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say I had said to Steve I can't today because the kids had done a beer bar, so they're applying us with alcohol. They do that so they can get a glass of Sprite. but our session at the beer bar ended sooner than I thought.
The sugar rush that they get though is more damaging than the alcohol rush that you do.
They don't get a sugar rush.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you're keeping safe and everything, and everyone else. I hope you're also keeping safe. Everyone who's watching, listening, etc., and also following the old rules. This weekend on Saturday is the Super Vax Day or whatever's going on. Anyway, I'm double vaxxed already. Please do yourself as well, and let's get ourselves back to normal as quickly as possible. Looking at the old news today, Ma'anonu is playing provincial rugby this weekend. Have you seen that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I did see that. I saw it. I think I heard it this morning, maybe when I was waking up or something. It got mentioned, or maybe somebody put it on Twitter as well early this morning. But yeah, it's just like, well, to be honest, no surprises. I mean, he has been playing some MLR, hasn't he?
Oh, look, he was rumoured to be joining Moana Pasifika, but he's not going to because he's got an overseas contract lined up. So look, he's still hasn't retired.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose it's just I suppose getting a game where he can.
Yeah, but I guess who he's lining up for is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, very much so.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, maybe he's been going there. You know, it's a good, nice area, nice environment to sort of relax and do a bit of diving and seafood and the like too. So maybe he's been hanging with some mates over there, and we've got the phone. Is it Hosea that's coaching them?
Yes.
I think it's Hosea. Yes, maybe Hosea sort of tapped them and said, like, mate, you want to come play?
So East Coast is who's going to be playing for, folks. This weekend he's on the bench for East Coast, who have not won a game in 5 years or something like that. So really? They're on a very, very long losing streak at the moment. So good luck to them this weekend. I did think that Neymar Scudder was going to be playing for them this year, but that was only for a celebratory game pre-season, and then he's now playing for Manawatu this year. And now that Stephen's got his cap on, we can let him come into the show. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I don't want to show you my haircut. my wife gave me a haircut. It's okay.
You're off to prison.
But I'll wait a few weeks.
There's like one of the kids in Aiden's class. This is like his mum put a picture up of some stuff that he's doing. This is like, and you get this is like the mum put it up there, so you get all her friends coming. I was like, oh, that's so cool that he's doing this and blah blah blah. And I go in there with, did you give him a haircut? This was like, is that why Bruce doesn't want a haircut? That's the husband.
I've ended
Bruce
up with a
popped on
reverse
and said,
mullet,
yes.
short on the back and long at the front. So yeah, I've had my haircut, but look, she didn't take any off the side. So I need to have a chat with her about that next time.
He's trying to go. He's trying to go. He's trying to go O'Connor.
So no, I need the. So I definitely need the size to be shortened. I don't mind being long on top. That's how I used to have it a long time ago. So anyway,
Just when you get to Mitre 10, just use an axe, mate. You know, nice sharp axe. Just
the chainsaw or lawnmower. Anyway, so we've had to chat about Nonu. Wales have named their squad, folks, for this weekend with Gareth Anscombe. It looks like he'll be playing against the All Blacks, coming back from injury. Look, great to see him back because that knee injury took nearly 2 years to get over. So good to see him back. Look, as we knew, they'll be missing their England players for the New Zealand game, but still, you're looking at players like, so for example, because they've missed them there, Dan Biggar and Callum Sheedy, they brought in Reece Priestland with 50 caps into the side. Johnny Williams will be joining Jonathan Davis in midfield there with 91 caps for Jonathan Davis. So look, one of the things we talked about yesterday with Steve was that because Wales seem to always have these injury crises, that actually that their second group of, or the wider training squad actually got quite a few caps anyway, and there's only one debutant in there, even though they're having to dig deep with a whole bunch of players missing through injury and availability. So looking forward to that game, and I'll hopefully have a chat with the Attacking Scrum in the week ahead of that, who are a Welsh podcast, to preview that game. So look out for that, folks. Also, don't forget, I've gone blank. Harping on Rugby Podcast, which is a Irish podcast. We're talking to them before the All Blacks versus the Ireland game as well on that one. Tights.
Yep.
Now, I misread it. I read yesterday that World Rugby had allowed tights and leggings to be used for rugby for the first time. But no, they're just allowing men to have it. Women already could do. So there was a whole bunch of comments on Twitter saying how this is good for the women's game and allowing, and that a whole bunch of teenagers and stuff will like it. And it's like, they could already.
it's just equality.
So-
We're making sure, because we want equality there, and it's just like if women can wear tights, why can't men?
And with 4G pictures, boy oh boy, you need them. Put bluntly, which isn't a problem so much in New Zealand, but is one definitely in the UK.
Say that again. 4G pictures.
Yes. It's where you get all your iPhones, the old ones, and lie them all down the pitch, and that becomes the plastic pictures with the rubber balls, so not grass pictures that they can play on.
Actually, on a serious note, it's good because a couple of years ago, my son was playing Ripper, and a couple of the kids in there, obviously playing at 8:30 in the morning, they would wear the skins underneath, and we were told we're not allowed to wear skins. And the reason was because there was a reason to why you couldn't wear skins, was because fingers were getting caught in them, and obviously they get twisted and the like.
Yep.
So
right.
Obviously they've sort of thought that's the lesser of two evils, but it's good because that means that kids can stay warm and don't have to go, I don't want to play, I'm cold.
Yep. Exactly. Aaron, look, get over yourself. He doesn't want to see men in tights. Jeez. He's a dinosaur. Move with the times, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say, Paul, it's really great that World Rugby has signed off something that's totally pressing at the moment in terms of issues in and around the game. So I'm really glad they were all over that.
You're looking at the important issues in the world at the moment.
Very
That's it. We need to. This has been an outstanding issue for a very long time, and it's good to see World Rugby finally taking the actions required to make sure that our game is held in good stead and allowing men to wear tights.
It's a tiny thing but yeah, I don't see any downside to it. I think we said yesterday, you can wear tights to stay warm. Well done. If you don't want to wear them, don't wear them. Simple, no big deal.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it wasn't front and foremost. I've got to be honest. There's other issues that are more on my mind than rugby players running around in tights. But hey, they made a decision.
Yep. Moana Pasifika then. They've named their first player. Were you shocked? Were you amazed? Christian Leofano, apparently. Wow, where did that one come from, Stephen?
Yeah, no, I read about a week ago on the Brumbies website that announced it as well. Far out, they obviously knew something that
Moana Pasifika didn't.
Most of us didn't know, and I must admit, through some mutual contacts, I knew about this 3 weeks ago. But never mind. What an announcement! What a signing!
Yeah, look, I think we've already talked about this one. So there's not really much to say apart from yeah. Look, it's decent signing for them. Not one of the areas that we thought were necessarily was necessarily a high concern for them. So I think they've got a good couple of players in there. And don't forget, you can check out Stephen Harris and myself going through putting together our entire squad for Moana Pasifika.
And I was about to say, if you can lip read, I'll give you the other.
The other players, because Stephen Harris yet again forgets he's on mute. And for those of you on the podcast, lip reading is really helpful thing.
No, I actually did that on purpose.
So look, experienced player will be a good head to lead them around. Good call, decent signing. Just get on with the rest of them. So they've got another one coming out at 2:00 tomorrow. Look, they've got 38 players in the squad. So that's content for their Facebook page and Twitter account for the next 38 days, or next 37 days, sorry. One player a day at 2:00. Keep yourself posted.
Well, at least they didn't make it 1:00. That just would have been awkward.
What? So everyone has to come back from their lunch break, has had lunch, go straight into work and can't check their phones because they're at work now. Do it during the lunch break when people can check their phones. I mean, seriously. Deary me.
Oh, no, they'll be in competition with the 1:00 lockdown report.
Oh, that's true. Oh, dear. Yeah, there's just
people watch that?
going on. Oh, so don't bother watching that. Just wait and just check on. Just read the news article later.
10 minutes later, and it's like, 71 cases today. Oh, sweet, okay.
just wait half an hour and just read what it all is on the old news website. So folks, look forward to that. Over the next few days, we'll be having at 2:00. It looks like we'll have teams of players. Now, tomorrow, as I've already said, I will be at Northland versus Northland versus Otago.
What a go!
And that means that I will be having to leave before or at least before the show or during the show. So hence there'll be no 5:00 show tomorrow. On Saturday, again, there are games on, so we won't do a show during a game time. And then again on Sunday, they've delayed the game on Sunday between Tasman and Bay of Plenty. I think it's probably because Bay of Plenty couldn't fly through Hamilton. So it's a 4:00 kickoff rather than 2:00 kickoff, folks. And so again, that encroached on our show time. So no show until next Lockdown Beers show or live show will be at 5:00 on Monday. However, I might put out little podcasts episodes with the latest news each day. So search for New Zealand Sports Radio on your favourite podcatcher for those. Now, Stephen, what's going on out your window?
Well, the good news is it wasn't a helicopter, but whoever thought it was a good idea in life to put speakers on the outside of cars? Are you serious? Seriously?
Yeah.
But, well, this is West Auckland. Anything goes.
Just on the reschedule of the you guys might have talked about this. Obviously, I haven't been around for a while, but why do we need, if we've got lack of games, why do we need 3 games on a Saturday and 1 game on a Sunday? Why wouldn't you do 2 games on Sunday, 2 games on Saturday? Mind blowing.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Just
pretty hard ask for even for a rugby lover that's not by himself or herself. I have to say these days. To watch 3 games of rugby in one day, isn't it? You're going to get into a bit of trouble doing that, even if you wanted to.
So, there is that, and also, obviously Sky has less content than they were going to have, so why not do a Heartland Championship game each Saturday, and because that kicks off at 2:30, It's actually 2 o'clock game. Your 4 o'clock game, your 4:30 game, and your 7 o'clock game can be the 2 NPC. And then have
NPCs.
2 NPCs on a Sunday. Absolutely, yeah. And people would like to see Marnoni play this weekend, I think.
Oh, definitely. They seem quite happy to had an All Black running around for King Country last weekend. Oh, we've got an All Black who potentially could be running around for East Coast on the weekend. Let's hope they can. That might be just the tonic they need to break their duck pool.
Yep.
Like it worked for King Country.
The no, it didn't. Well, I didn't watch that game, so I've got no idea anyway how he went. But apparently he went okay and didn't injure himself, which is important.
Didn't injure himself. That'd be the basically.
Yeah. On that one. So yeah, no, you're right. Why not? Oh dearie me. Aaron's got a little bit of a bee in his bonnet about the fact that Auckland isn't taking part in the NPC. Therefore, the whole thing should die and be shot and burnt in hell because the false NPC apparently is calling it now. There we go.
Well, I think. I mean, to be fair though, it's more around the lack of consistency in the approach of who can play and who can't, and it comes down not to a NZRFU thing; it's a government thing, and it's just like illogical in terms of some of the consistency around it. That's the issue that the guys that I talk to have around it.
Should the 5th place team been the team that should have been relegated?
As per our friend down at Taranaki saying,
yeah,
he's got a fair point.
Yeah,
he's got an absolute fair point.
No, the 6th place team, you mean? Because there are 7 teams in the Premiership. Only one of them's not playing, which is Auckland.
Oh, so, okay. Yeah. That's right. It is Auckland. I was thinking for some reason I had it in my head that Harbour was still a Premiership team, but yeah, you're right.
So there's only one team. So yeah, personally, I would have said that relegate the team that's bottom, unless it's Auckland, in which case you relegate the team above them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got that. Would have had no problems with that, personally. So yes, that's that side of things, and that's my ex calling. He says.
Well, if you want to get that, Ashford and I will charge on, mate. So all good.
That's what he's scared about.
Go on, Paul, answer it.
You go, Paul, answer it. Yeah,
I'm not answering it on air. That's just
tell her she's on the show.
Anyway,
thought you might have done a Jackie Chan and said, "Oh, hey, I'm doing a movie at the moment."
Anyway, let's get on to some predictions for the weekend.
Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I'm not on Friday, so normally I do these on Friday, so I thought I'd do them today.
Yeah. So, totes.
Otago versus Northland. Northland versus Otago in Rotorua. I found this one really hard to pick, to be honest with you. Otago haven't been going great. Neither of Northland until their last game when they beat Waikato. I'm going for the diversity makes them stronger and brings them together kind of thing for Northland by 3. But Stephen, as our Northland expert who never gets to see them play in the flesh, what would you like to let us? What's your call on that one?
Yeah, listen, I think they've gained a lot of confidence out of that last result against Waikato, and just staying in touch with the manager of the team, or the high performance guy these days. He was telling me that there's, it's got it feels like they're on tour at the minute. So there's a good, really, really good feel. No distractions whatsoever. And listen, fortunately, apart from Jordan Olsen, who has decided to stay home, obviously not so long ago had the birth of their 2nd child, so he's decided to stay home with family. And of course Tom Robinson, they're pretty much at full strength. So yeah, I actually think they're a real chance to take this, because I think they'll see this as an opportunity that they are still in with a shot to make the top 4. So I think it might be about right, Paul. If they are going to win it, probably by about 3 or 4. But I just want to mention Justin Davies, who's 35 years old. Last time he played for Northland was several seasons ago. Now, if somebody had said to Justin Davies at the very beginning of the season that first of all, you'll pull on the Northern Taniwha jersey again, and then you'll be playing a home game in Rotorua. He probably thought you would have thought you were on drugs, to be brutally honest. So it's a story of, it's a really great story of basically a guy who's just prepared to get out there and do the work, because he basically had to be talked into running out again this season in terms of Premier Rugby. But Justin's always had a decent bit of ability, but all the couple of injuries here and there, and all the stars have pretty much lined up, Paul. So good luck to him.
These are the kind of stories that are great at this level, isn't it? It's these old guys running out, and so there you go. You've nominated who I'm going to try and have a chat with do post-match interviews with now. So if he's selected, I can't. He is. So he is. I've not looked at the lineup this weekend yet. So if he's selected, we'll give him a go.
Yes, he's a starting loose head.
There we go. Wow, he's not only not only in the side. He's actually starting. He's not even coming off the bench. Jeez, God, yeah, he'll be knackered by half time. Anyway, Joshua says the Tiger were close to Taranaki last game. They were, but that was at home. Big difference that than being away. Alfred, you with us on this one, or you going?
Oh, yeah. Look, I mean, apart from Jordan Olsen losses, I think is actually a bit bigger than sort of like what you'd sort of normally think. I think he actually sort of leads that pack around quite a bit, especially with the absence of Tom Robinson as well. When you look at that the game that they played against Waikato, and he really is in the mix of it all the time. He massive effort, right? Massive effort, going in there. So I think that'll be a bigger loss than sort of what you'd normally expect. In saying that, it's a shame that they had the bye week. Well, in one hand it was a shame, in one hand with the COVID lockdown it wasn't. But it's a shame that they had the bye week for the momentum after the Waikato game, because that's massive, right? Waikato were basically the top of the premiership when they beat them, and it wasn't a jammy win. It was actually it was a good win as well. So, look, on the back of that, you sort of say, I know Otago did well against Taranaki down at home, but, that for Northland to knock Waikato off in the way that Waikato have been travelling, you've got to back Northland in for that one.
Yep. Next up, Waikato versus Taranaki in Tauranga. So I'll be at that one as well, folks. For this one, look, for my mind, Taranaki will go one of two ways. Either they'll just give up the season, so they can't get promoted and go, can't be asked, or they'll go, right, we're going to go unbeaten and show everyone we really deserve this promotion. We've beaten all the other Premiership teams. We'll be damn sure we're going to beat these guys. I've got a funny feeling that's the way they're going to go. And yeah, Taranaki for me, because they've just been so impressive this season.
I think the hardest one to pick out of all of these, actually, tell you the truth, this one, because both teams, exactly the reasons that you've just mentioned, but Waikato, they're going to be really spitting tacks as well, with the way that sort of they started off with a big bang, and Northland, and then last week, and wanting to get things back on track, and Taranaki been traveling pretty well, more than pretty well. And you look at the points differential between the top two in the championship and the rest of the championship. But so Waikato will be wanting to knock Taranaki off just as much as Taranaki want to knock Waikato off. So I'll sit on the fence and get splinters on this one, I reckon.
Oh man, I'm almost tempted to go for a draw in this game. In fact, I'm actually going to look at the odds now that you've got me thinking. Yeah, crazy. They've both got a whole lot to play for. Waikato want to make it prove a point after their shock defeat to Northland, and I think Paul, you might be right. Taranaki might have a siege mentality as well. I'd be curious if Josh Lord is going to be starting, or he may have played his last game for Taranaki last weekend as well, because he's a real big part of their lineout. And if I had to go for somebody, Waikato have been playing well pre that Northland game, and I think they just got Northland on one of those nights where all the stars lined up. It was Rangers' 100th game.
Oh look,
it's not a
first game now. Ranger danger.
Yeah.
Anyway,
every game.
Stephen's bottling it and going with Waikato, the Premiership team.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. I'll go with Waikato.
But I've got a funny feeling he will be doing some live gambling on this one on the old TAB.
Yep, I will.
So keep an eye on that one. Next up, Canterbury versus Hawke's Bay. Look, Hawke's Bay have been travelling really, really well, both home and away, which is unusual for a Ranfurly Shield team. Now, the reviewer is telling me that Hawke's Bay haven't won away against Canterbury since the 1960s.
Wow.
But hey, records are there to be broken, folks. Canterbury haven't been that impressive this year. They've been kind of there or thereabouts, but they've had a few real close ones. Go on, Osprey.
The dominance is there. It just doesn't seem to be consistent. Like, I mean, we were talking about it during the Wellington Canterbury game, which we were all watching last week, right? And it's just like Wellington off to a flyer, and then you just saw that machine, the Canterbury machine, start, and it's like, and we were, oh, here we go. And I think, Steve, you might have put a few dollars on Canterbury at $5 to come back and pick that one up.
Yeah,
because they look like it, right?
Oh, literally, I actually thought it was a quite solid bet at the time. What I actually didn't see coming was basically Wellington basically lifting for that last 10 minutes and finding a few few little chinks in the armor, and there was. At the end of the day, there was a missed conversion from Canterbury, and that proved really, really crucial at the end of the day. So, and Hawke's Bay travelling really well. You know what? I'm going to go for Canterbury simply because that was a massive ask for Hawke's Bay last weekend against Tasman, and I think that might have just taken a heck of a lot of them. Listen, if they go away and beat Canterbury, wow, they are some side. I'll also be interested to know the fitness of their skipper Ash Dixon as well. That shoulder looked a bit dinged up when he came off the field last Saturday. So for me, I'm going to go for Canterbury. But you know what? I hope I'm wrong.
I just sort of think Canterbury at home, you can't really pick against them. I think the difference between last week Canterbury Wellington and Canterbury Hawke's Bay is that Hawke's Bay have a forward pack, right? Basically last week it was the Wellington forward pack that just couldn't. How they ended up to get away with the chocolates last week is still quite mind blowing, really. But because they was totally beaten up front, but they managed to stay in the fight. The Hawke's Bay side actually does have a forward pack, more mongrel in them as well, which is what you need against the Canterbury side. Yeah, it's hard. History and us being old timers, it's hard to pick against the Canterbury side at home, though, isn't it?
Well, there you go. Clearly, I'm the only one that's young at heart then, because I've gone with Hawke's Bay as the two old dinosaurs going Canterbury. The last competitive game of the weekend is Manawatu versus Wellington. Look, yes, Wellington got up over Canterbury last weekend, but look, Manawatu, another side travelling really, really well. Be interesting to see if they've got Aaron Smith back or not for this one. Obviously, he missed last weekend. When they travelled down to gone blank as to whether there was they travelled down to Otago, didn't they? Southlands, thank you. Picked up the win. But still, I think Manawatu at home have been playing well and should pick up the win there. You guys going to disagree, or should we just?
Look, with that one, I think it's a case of what we saw last week and what I just mentioned. If Manawatu forwards can get on top of Wellington forwards, then they're in with a good show, especially with Aaron Smith running it if he's back. So you could, it's such a lot riding on the factors that if the Manawatu forwards can front against and get on top of the Wellington forwards. If they don't, what keeps that Wellington side in the games, and you've seen it right through the season, even though they've actually lost a few of Wellington, is their backs. Their backs are actually quite dangerous and quite lethal. It's basically a question of whether the forwards can give them enough ball they can do something with.
Yeah, yep. I was, listen, I think one area where they'll more than match Wellington, we know Duplessis Kirifi can be an absolute nuisance at the break time, or he can be a hindrance as well. He kind of reminds me of, and he's a name that Ashwin will remember, but there used to be a fellow by the name of Matua Parkinson who used to play for North Harbour and the Blues. Now he's probably the only player that I've ever known that gave away so many penalties in one game that the skipper of the time, Robin Brooke, basically threatened to not literally send him off, but take him out himself if he stopped giving away penalties. And there's a little bit of Duplessis Karifi, wouldn't you agree? Ashwin, just at times, we know what a good player is, but boy, some of the penalties he gives away are just...
Oh, my. Just on Duplessis, the fact is that you got to say, I mean, when and old Popo Parkinson's probably in this boat as well, is the fact is that guys that seriously be looking at a black jersey and it'd just be the discipline that would probably be putting the All Black selectors off, pushing them through that higher level, because Duplessis Karifi's so dynamic around the field. I mean, you think about him a few weeks ago in a black jersey, wouldn't have hurt, would it? But at that international level, guys that can go and kick a ball over from 60 meters away, do you want a guy that's going to give away 3 or 4 penalties a game? So, yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, Mutz used to be so much into the game that he probably got carried away was the issue, wasn't it?
Oh, very much so. And I was going to say that number 7, why I highlighted Duplessis Karifi, because I'm also going to highlight Seamus Hurley-Langton, who's just been outstanding. And he's out of Wellington Club Rugby, so he's going to have a real big point to prove, especially being an overlooked from the Wellington NPC side. But I love the look of when he gets into the game, as Braden Yosei, the number 8, really quiet in that first half against Southland last weekend, but boy, exploded in the second half, and he is a very, very quick number 8. But I'll tell you what, the Turbos have probably picked up one of the best signings in the NPC in Brett Cameron. Listen, he looks like he's just broke the shackles getting away from Canterbury and been sensational, and his control is one of the reasons I'm going to go for the Turbos to knock over the Lions.
That's a bloody good point, actually. If Brett Cameron and Aaron Smith combo, if they're both on the field, then that's a pretty controlling. And just on Brett Cameron, good point that you raised. People really do forget. If you go back to the first couple of seasons of Richie Moanga at NPC, you wouldn't have picked that he'd be the All Black that he is today. I mean, yeah, sure he had a few sparks, but most players don't get to play NPC if they haven't got a little bit of something bit of razzle dazzle that they can throw on every now and then. But there was no way that in his first couple of seasons that you would have picked Richie Moanga to be an All Black. And so, Brett Cameron, I don't know how he got rushed in there pretty quickly in that old Tokyo test, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being a New Zealand under-20s. So look, and it was there was the opportunity. So yeah, give him a go, and that became a bit of a millstone. That one cap All Black kind of thing, didn't it? In that kind of sense.
But with a bit of time now, he gets a bit of time, chance to relax, be who he is. I think it's really starting to show out.
Well, yeah, and he's also off to Japan as well, I think, isn't he? So should enjoy it over there. Look, I mean, some players have come back and done really well. So maybe he does go over there for a short stint and come back. We'll see. The non-competitive game is Tasman versus Bay of Plenty. Look, you're going to have to wait and see as to how the two teams use this one, because obviously there are no points in it. So what sides get selected, we'll have to wait and see. But Bay of Plenty have just got so many injuries in their back line. It'll be interesting to see what's going on there. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, I don't think you can really. I mean, Tasman clearly will go into that as favourites, but it doesn't really. It's not one that matters too much.
Tasman will go in there probably with a few subs playing because it doesn't matter to them. I would suggest that Bay of Plenty will probably go pretty with a strong side because their season hasn't been what they want it to be. So it's an opportunity for them to actually get a W on.
But also the question is, do they have any extra players that they can? Do they have enough players that they can actually rest anybody?
Yeah.
Paul, I was going to say just a little bit of breaking news too. The Taranaki team has just been named, and I know on our rugby chat you mentioned there was a player that's been drafted in from North Harbour. That's Mickey Williams, who I can't say I've really ever heard of, but he's played Harbour at some level, given his picture profile. And boy, talk about straight away for your debut, and he's taken the place of, by the look of it,
Gus.
The boy who's just been named in the All Blacks. Come on, think here, Josh Lord.
Josh Lord.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think they've said in there North Harbour via Southland. So I don't know if he's been in Southland sort of for the whole time, whether he sort of escaped New Zealand, escaped Auckland before lockdown, or how that's all happened. But anyway, whatever. We'll see what happens, or whether he's been allowed out a bit like Julian Surveyor has. Yeah, good luck to him.
Hey, just before I forget, it's $20 for the draw there on Waikato Taranaki, Steve.
Oh, shivers! I'm all over that. I am all over that. I am all over that.
Quick look at the URC. Ulster against the Lions. Ulster have been tracking well, so I think that'll be a home win there. The Dragons against the Stormers. Look, Dragons been up and down. Stormers flattering to deceive. Will they put it together at the end? I'm saying they will. Zebre, they've lost all their games this season, so I'm going Glasgow. Benetton have been doing all right, so I think they'll be Ospreys. You always pick Leinster, so that's an easy one there. Edinburgh versus the Bulls. That should be a cracking one. The Bulls did pick up a win last weekend. Munster again, a bit like Leinster, you normally back them. And finally, I'm backing the Sharks to tip over Cardiff. They tipped over Ospreys last weekend. Can they do two Welsh teams in 2 weekends?
Four controversial matches this weekend in the URL. 4 controversial matches, just to keep our friends from the Republic going.
Oh, okay.
They'll all be in the games that South African teams are involved in. That's where the controversy will come.
Yeah, exactly.
On to the Gallagher Premiership. Look, the champions Harlequins have been tracking well, so I've gone with them. Falcons over Bristol, who since Pat Lam has done a long extension of only one game. Exeter have actually put together 2 wins back to back. So this one difficult against Wasps, but Wasps have also done well at home. So I'm going with Wasps there just against Exeter. Even though that one is going to have some spice to it, folks. So some of you might be aware that Exeter Chiefs, branding is all Native American, and this has caused some uproar. So Wasps have banned all Native American headdresses from the stadium. So and they've also asked Premiership Rugby to ban all Native American
paraphernalia,
but also marketing, whatever you call it, the imagery from all teams. So there's going to be a bit of beef between these two teams off the pitch now around it as well. So that could be a feisty one.
That's just Wasps acting like dicks.
Well,
like, look, at the end of the day, whether you agree with whether the Exeter Chiefs monogram, whatever you want to call it, logo, to take it to that level like that is basically acting like dicks and taking the law into yourself. It's just like, yeah, look, there's ways to address it, and that's not one of them to my mind.
Gee, I tell you what, Paul, that might have just stoked the fire a little bit in the Exeter Chiefs, mate. I'm going to go the other way around. But I'll tell you what, the big thing for me, I can't wait till the 6th of February because that's when the return match will basically take place at Sandy Park in Exeter, and I reckon that's going to be really interesting as well. Are they going to ban bees?
Yeah, anybody with a stinger is banned from the stadium because stingers are harmful and only hurt people.
Absolutely, agree with you.
If it's your home ground, you can ban whatever you like coming into the ground. So that bit, fine.
Hang on. Now we're getting. See, this is the problem, right? And this is like, let's not say it's all right because it simply isn't all right. You're starting to now go into the whole areas of freedom and speech, which is what freedom of speech and all sorts of things like that this is starting to come into. And it's just like, why the hell would you make a situation for yourself in an aggressive position like that? And it's just like, it's just ridiculous, and it's just wrong on all sorts of levels. It's like, is this about rugby, or are we now social warriors, or is this about rugby competition?
Well, another part of it also is that, look, the Gallagher Premiership has been making overtures towards the USA, wanted to break into the USA market for a number of years now. So I think there is also a monetary side to it as well. You'll find that obviously that pretty much all of the American teams have moved away from the kind of imagery, and that's look, it is offensive to a group of people. Now, if you're trying to sell your product to the USA, where it's offensive to a group of people, then you're going to want to.
So what percentage of the market are they ostracizing by keeping the Chiefs having Native American headdress as part of their imagery? What percentage of the market are they alienating there?
I don't know about that, but I do know
exactly. That's minimal at best. Look, at the end of the day, what they should just let this happen is organically let it happen. It will happen. It's all happening, but let it organically happening. Forcing it down people's throat is the wrong way to go, because it just gets people's backs up and says, 2 fingers, I'll do what I want to. And it's like, then you don't get change. If you let it happen organically with a little bit of pressure, but not like this. And it's just like, dude, you're talking to 2 brown guys here that have been through this crap, okay? And it's like, this is the thing that's dumb. And it's just like, for Christ's sake, what we've seen in the last 20 years is things happening organically in the right direction. By forcing it down people's throats, you're starting to piss people off.
Paul, I've got a quick question for you, just on Leicester. Obviously, leading the table at the moment. You kind of look through their roster, or their playing 15, even from last week's victory that they had, and up front they've got Alice Ginge and I think Dan Coles is the other prop. In the halves they've got Ben Youngs and one of the Ford brothers, and I think Nemani Nandolo also plays on the wing for them. But you look through the rest of their names that don't really sort of jump out at you.
No, they've put it together, haven't they? Which is impressive. Worcester Warriors, bottom half of the table one. It's come for win this weekend for them on that one. By the way, folks, yeah, clearly Arthur and I are going to disagree on this one. I think Wasps at home should be allowed to set the rules for their stadium. So on that side of things, so that's my opinion. But yeah, move it. Yeah, so Tigers, yeah, easy win there and going well, tracking well. Saracens over Bath. Yeah.
For the record, I get support in the chat room though.
You do get support in the chat room, absolutely. The reviewer and Joshua also agree with you. But there you go.
Your brother.
Yeah.
Way to go, bro.
Giro.
The Saracens, I think, also get up over Bath, and I think Gloucester will be Irish, who have been a poor side. Finally, we'll wrap through the top 14. Look, this one's fairly simple, folks. On the whole, go with the.
No cowbells in any stadium outside of Waikato, thanks. Because they're just going to damage seriously, they'll damage people's hearing because you've got a cowbell going right next to your ear.
If Dunedin wants to ban cowbells, that's fine. It's not their
yeah.
It's their home.
We know which way that'll go.
Do what they want. Sorry.
We know which way the media will push that one.
There are a bunch of animals down there anyway. It's a zoo. Anyways, Breve at home, Perpignan at home, easy wins. Pau have actually been struggling with Bordeaux going really well. They've put together 4 or 5 on the bounce. I think Bordeaux will win that one. Castres, it's a home team, same with Montpellier and Toulon. Toulouse pretty much have been trouncing everybody. So bad luck, Lyon. So I've gone for 2 away wins there. The rest at home.
Hey, Lyon, Toulouse.
Lyon, Toulouse. Oh.
Anyway.
You know how you keep saying, that by a comfortable mark, they'll win that easy, but then your points difference is only 3 points.
I just wonder.
This is like you said. I can't remember. I missed which ones you said. Oh, that one easy, but it's only 3 points. That's not easy, is it?
Oh, okay. I just chicken out.
That's close, man.
Oh dear me, put in my place again. Jeez, might be time to stop the show.
Yeah.
Come invite Steve
You know,
back anyway.
you know what
We've been having a good time since he hasn't been on the show.
You know what the show needs, eh? More cowbell.
I've got one somewhere. Where's my cowbell gone?
Oh, dearest.
He's lost his cowbell.
I know he's lost
got
his
too much.
cowbell.
He's accumulated too much paraphernalia. He's got his bucket. Well, that's now. Someone's hit him over the head. Now he doesn't know the difference between a bucket and a cowbell.
Yeah. Oh,
See,
that could be
I like dress up.
that could be a sign.
But,
That could be a sign. I like cowbell.
I'll have to find a cowbell from somewhere. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show, folks. Great to have Arsene back. Thank you for popping in. Yes, Stephen, you're holding up your pen. You're going to tell me off again.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's been great.
So do check out the his connection keeps dropping out. It's been happening for a couple of weeks now. We need to sort of get him some proper tech. What I was going to say, so look out, search for New Zealand Sport Radio on your old podcatcher for quick news updates as to the news that's happening. Obviously tomorrow we'll have another name announced from Moana Pasifika, and I'll check in any other news into there. And folks, we'll get Stephen Harris to do a request now, Honky Tonk Woman, to play us out. And everybody, stay safe. Have a great weekend.